everyone. Welcome back to the Otis Gabe Show. I am Otis. Gabe could not call in today, but I am here to talk about the free agency frenzy that is going on right now. Let me tell you, if you haven't been paying attention, you probably should because it is crazy. It is the only thing really that's giving sports that's out there in sports right now to talk about. And so I'm going to give you my intake on a lot of the signings. It was a big first day, big second day, and there should be more to come. So let's get started. A couple of big blockbuster trades. DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona for and a fourth round pick. And then the Arizona Cardinals are getting trading David Johnson, a second and a fourth. I think it's an interesting trade. I think it's a great trade for the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are getting arguably one of the best receivers in the league. And well deserved because Kyler Murray needs a good weapon. And so I think that kind of shows that the Cardinals now are probably going to focus with their first pick on an offensive lineman because they got their weapon. They got another weapon for Kyler Murray. And so I think now they're going to focus on offensive line in the draft. But a huge trade. I think it's a trade won totally by the Cardinals. I think I think the Texans need to. I think they need to reevaluate some things as far as what moves they're making. I think there was supposedly there was some issues with D Hop and Coach Bill O'Brien, but we're not going to get into that. But I think it's a win. I think it trades a win. So also Atlanta yesterday made or a couple 2 days ago actually made a trade for Hayden Hurst, tight end, traded a second and a fifth, and got Hayden Hurst and a fourth from Baltimore. DeForest Buckner was traded to the Colts for the Colts' 13th overall pick this year, and DeForest Buckner also signed a contract to be the second highest paid interior defensive lineman, only behind Aaron Donald. So big stuff there. And then at the end of the first day, Stephon Diggs in a big trade with Buffalo. Stephon Diggs and a seventh round pick go to Buffalo for Minnesota's getting Buffalo's first, a fifth, a sixth, and a fourth round pick in 2021. So big trade there. I think that really, really helps Josh Allen a lot. I think they were probably going to draft a weapon with that first round pick. Most likely could have been Jerry Jeudy, could have been CeeDee Lamb, could have been Henry Ruggs, who knows. But now I think they don't need to, and I do think it's a bit of an overpay because looking at a better receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, who only got traded for a running back, a second, and they only get Arizona only gave up a second round pick and a fifth round pick. So I don't know. I think it's interesting how different wide receivers bring different prices on trades, and I think that's what's crazy about this time is teams are willing to gamble on certain players and put money out there on certain players and picks to try to get some success. So another trade that went down earlier before free agency, Calais Campbell going to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, by the way, before the season started this year, had two fifth round picks. They traded at the deadline. They traded for Marcus Peters with that fifth round pick, who is a very good corner, solid corner. Not I'm not he's not the best in the league, but he's a good corner for the Ravens, and they needed him. And now with the second fifth round pick, they get Calais Campbell, who I think they stole. I think they stole from Jacksonville. I think this is a crazy good trade for Baltimore. They're just beefing up their defensive line. Their defense is going to be very good next year, I think, and they're going to have a lot of success. Also, Colts signed Costanzo to a 2-year extension. Ryan Tannehill got his money with the Tennessee Titans, a 4-year deal. Christian Kirksey signs a 2-year deal with the Packers. McCourty signed a 2-year extension with the Patriots. Another deal, a couple other deals. Austin Hooper goes to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns picked up multiple players, one of many. Hooper will now be the highest paid tight end in the league, which is huge for that offense. They also, on that offense, picked up Jack Conklin, a tackle from Tennessee. Great move for them. And then a team I want to look at, too, is Miami. The Miami Dolphins. They're going hard in free agency. They have picked up, in the first day, they picked up a pretty decent offensive guard in Eric Flowers. They have Byron Jones. They picked up Kyle Van Noy. They also picked up Shaq Lawson. I believe today they signed some other big. They signed a bunch of other players too. But Miami's they're looking promising now. If they can figure out their quarterback position and their offensive line, I think they can. They're looking pretty promising in a division where you don't have to worry about Tom Brady anymore. Hooray! So also another big move. Jimmy Graham goes to the Bears. Surprising, very surprising there. Eric Armstead signed a big deal with San Francisco today. Jamie Collins goes to the Lions. Marcus Mariota goes to the Raiders. Could be a quarterback controversy there. I think that they don't sign him to the money that they gave him to come in and be a backup. So Gruden and Mayock obviously have something planned. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. Randall Cobb signed a big deal with the Texans as the Texans obviously traded away DeAndre Hopkins. They pick up Randall Cobb. Not not that's Randall Cobb's a quality receiver. He'll get good production. The Redskins bring back Kendall Fuller on a 4-year deal. Amari Cooper signs a big deal with the Cowboys, a 5-year deal with the Cowboys. Brady Brady is gone. He hasn't officially signed yet, but is going to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me tell you, folks, I'm a Falcons fan. The NFC South is going to be the best division in football. Now, you can tweet at me, you can send me a message all you want and try to prove me wrong. But let me just tell you, I get it. Matt Ryan is not as good as Drew Brees and Tom Brady, but that division is going to be a good division, and they're going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one to watch next year. Drew Brees, speaking of that, signed a deal to stay with the Saints, a 2-year deal with the Saints. So obviously, Drew Brees has more has more to give. You know, he's going to play more, which good for him. I think the Saints. He loves the community down there, loves the team, loves the coach, and I think he'll do great things next season. Hopefully, not as great as I hope, but whatever. Okay, so let me just talk. I'm also going to talk about a couple of key players that were cut. Atlanta cut Devontae Freeman and Desmond Trufant, which, by the way, Desmond Trufant actually signed a deal today. I believe it's March 18th. Signed a deal with the Detroit Lions. Interesting move there. And so that's freed up money for Atlanta to go out and sign Dante Fowler on a 3-year deal. Big boost. Big boost to their pass rush. Hopefully he can be very productive for them. I think there were some teams that really went at it the first couple of days of free agency, and it shows because they got some, they're getting good players. Let's talk about the franchise tag. A couple of key players that were franchise tagged include Matt Judon for the Baltimore Ravens, AJ Green for the Bengals, Cowboys franchise tag Dak Prescott, Broncos Justin Simmons, Jaguars Yannick Ngakoue, Chiefs Chris Jones, the Chargers Hunter Henry, Vikings Anthony Harris, who they are actually, I think, maybe looking at potential trade options there, a tag and trade. Who knows? The Redskins tagged Brandon Sheriff, Titans tagged Derrick Henry, the Buccaneers tagged Shaq Barrett, who they're probably going to look to get on a long term deal. A couple of these guys actually are probably going to get long term deals soon but the team just wants to tag them just to keep them. Like example, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry should get paid. Now that is a controversy for me. I feel like Derrick Henry has deserved his money, and I feel like I get it. Ryan Tannehill had a good season last year, but I don't think he's worth a big contract yet. It now you can try to prove me wrong, but I think Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, he's a beast. He really helped that team out in the playoffs, and I think that's the guy you should be paying. I don't think I get it. I understand it. You need a quarterback to survive in this league. Obviously, that's how you win football games. We saw it for 20 years with Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's a what are that's another thing. Like, what are the Patriots going to do? But for Tennessee, I just don't understand. I don't understand how. I don't know. I don't understand it. I think Derrick Henry should get his money because I think he deserves it. And I think he's a valuable part of their offense. But they signed Tannehill, and they're hopefully going to get Derrick Henry to a big contract in the upcoming future. I think another guy who should get paid is Dak Prescott. I think obviously the Cowboys need a quarterback. They tagged him, but they got to sign him. They got to sign a quarterback. They're going to sign him eventually. They're going to get him a long term deal. It's going to come. So they just got to wait and see how the money works out and how their players hit the salary cap and what moves go where. I mean, they let Byron Jones walk, which freed up money to sign Amari Cooper. So it'll be interesting to see. A couple other moves that I saw: Philip Rivers heading to the Colts. That should be an interesting move. I really like that move. I think the Colts. Obviously, the Colts are in a situation. They lose Andrew Luck, just retires out of out of the blue. Not really. I mean, he was injured a lot, so he's doing it for himself for his health reasons. But Philip Rivers is a very capable free agent coming in. I mean, he has proved himself. He had some great years in San Diego and obviously in LA as well with the Chargers. And I think the Colts are gonna be very successful next year. They just they need to probably boost their weapons a little bit. T.Y. Hilton injured injured a lot. If he can stay healthy, he can be a great target. I mean, we saw Keenan Allen with Philip Rivers, and that worked. That worked out really well. So it'll be interesting to see what the Colts do there as far as how they handle the rest of the weapons around Philip Rivers. And so the Patriots also tagged Joe Tooney, which is a good move. They're probably going to potentially give a big contract to him. He's a very good offensive lineman. Very, very good. They got good value for him. He's going to get his money. He will eventually. A guy like Kenyon Drake, they used. I think they used the transition tag on him. He will eventually. I think maybe get his money now that they've gotten rid of David Johnson. I feel like he's another guy who's probably going to get his money. Let's go back though. I want to go back to some of these trades, and I think the biggest one that I saw today, Nick Foles to the Chicago Bears for a fourth round pick. The Jacksonville Jaguars have made some very interesting moves in the last year. They have traded away Jalen Ramsey. They have traded away AJ Bouye. They have traded away Calais Campbell. They they used the franchise tag instead of giving a long-term contract to Yannick Ngakoue. They just traded a quarterback who they paid big bucks last offseason. I don't know. I think Jacksonville's in full rebuild. Total rebuild. They trade. And I think Chicago is now in a situation where Mitchell Trubisky is obviously gone, but they stole Nick Foles. They stole him. You got a fourth. You gave up a fourth round pick for Nick Foles. Nick Foles is when he's healthy. Obviously, he had the broken collarbone last season, but when he's healthy, he's a solid quarterback in this league. He's not. He's going to get the job done. And if Chicago can just get some weapons for their quarterback, I think Chicago will be very successful. But I think Jacksonville's got to figure this out. They really do, and I think. But I do think though Jacksonville by trading Nick Foles is saying we like Gardner Minshew. Which hey, if you're going to do that, that's fine. Then I think first off you have to you got to get boost up your offensive line, and you got to get some more receivers. You got to get some help. They need some help, and obviously they need to help their defense as well. They traded two top corners who are now other places and for nothing basically. Well, I'll take that back. Jalen Ramsey was in a big trade. That was a bigger blockbuster trade. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know. I think the Jaguars are in a bit of a situation where they are probably in a big time rebuild. Okay, so now I want to talk about my winners and losers so far. I think my two teams that are definitely winning free agency. I think the Dolphins, they're hitting it. They're signing some very good players, and Brian Flores is getting a guy from the Patriots that he knew well, and Kyle Van Noy. But they're getting some good players. They're getting better. Miami's getting better. I think they're going to be better than teams think next year. And I also think Cleveland, man, you went out, you spent all this money. I don't know how you had all this money, but you went out and spent all this money. You better start praying it works. Because if it doesn't work, that is a huge, huge failure. But I'm one of those people who thinks, listen, I watched Austin Hooper for 4 years. I think he was a very good tight end. I think he's one of the best tight ends in the league. And you paid him. They paid him, and he got his money. And well, you better hope he's productive. Because if he's not productive, boy, that's trouble. That's trouble. And Conklin, I think, is a phenomenal pickup in free agency. I think you needed help on the offensive line. You got him. You got help, and I think he's going to help a lot. And I think you also, I think personally, you're going to draft a tackle. That's my opinion. You can comment me, you can at me on that or whatever. But I think you're still going to draft an offensive lineman because it's an important position. And so also the Colts, trading a first round pick for DeForest Buckner, I think it's a very good trade. I really do. I think obviously the Colts were probably looking at getting a defensive lineman with this first round pick. And so I think they figured why not go out and get really a solid interior defensive lineman in DeForest Buckner, who is going to be very productive. Very productive. I think that's a home run for the Colts. Really is. And then they also obviously signed Philip Rivers. Other teams who I think might be missing out. I don't know. I haven't. I don't know. I think there's obviously some teams out there who are missing out. I think the Patriots have lost a lot. They lost a lot. Listen. I get it. It's one thing, that you got the greatest quarterback. They got it. They call him the goat. You lose him. You don't have a quarterback now. But you also have to consider this. You also just lost three linebackers, a solid safety that you traded to the Lions, and an interior defensive lineman. So that's a lot of players that they didn't resign. And it's funny because these players are going places where Belichick had assistants, or Belichick assistants are now head coaches. So good for Belichick. It just shows how great Belichick is. He produces good coaches on his staff, and they go out and they try to be successful and they try to do the same things that he does. They try to replicate what Belichick does. And eventually, some of these coaches will be successful. I think Patricia is getting there. Brian Flores, obviously in Miami, that's a struggle. Yeah, that was a hard year, but you know what? It's his first year, and I think I applaud Miami to do with all of what they're doing, and I think I applaud Detroit too. I think they're being active in free agency and they're doing the right things. And so some of these teams still obviously there's still some big name free agents out there. Melvin Gordon, big name free agent. Guy decided to hold out a little bit, lost his chance, right? The Chargers offered him 10 mil a year, 10 mil a year, and he turned it down because he thought he was more. Well, let me tell you this. Melvin Gordon's not getting 10 mil a year anymore. Clowney, Clowney, obviously teams have valued interior guys more than edge rushers because we saw Eric Armstead get his money, and we saw DeForest Buckner get his money, and we're gonna see more, and we've seen more, and there's more guys that I'm missing that I know are getting money. Dante Fowler, even though he's on the edge, but Dante Fowler got his money. I don't think Clowney's gonna get the money he wants either. And so some of these free agents have to start thinking about, who's going to want me? Who's going to want Clowney? Now, obviously, there are probably teams out there that really want Clowney, but are they willing to spend the money they want to spend? See, because Houston, before they traded him, they offered him contract, they offered him money, and it's a shame that he turned it down because now looking at it, he was traded to the Seahawks, and now he's a free agent, and no one really is offering him. So you have to. I believe if you hold out, you're losing money. You lose money, you're not going to gain money. I haven't seen, at least that what I haven't seen. You can let me know if I probably missed it, but at least what I've seen, I haven't seen a guy hold out for a new contract and get paid more. It's not going to happen. No one wants to do it because why would I pay a guy like Melvin Gordon 10 mil now? No one's going to do it. It's not going to happen. And a guy like Trent Williams wants a new contract in Washington. Well, Trent Williams didn't even play last year. He's not worth you know he's not worth as much as he thinks he's worth, right? There's so many teams out there that have these players that they're not going to sign. The Redskins, if they're smart, they're not going to give Trent Williams the big money. He's not worth it right now. Now, listen, if Trent Williams would have played last year and played the entire season and made all pro or made a Pro Bowl or something, then you know what? Then you probably sit down with him and you know look at a contract restructure. Look at a little more money. Hey, we'll pay you a little more money. But if you don't play, why would I want to pay someone who hasn't played in a year more money? So I think that's a big letdown for players, but they have to realize that holding out doesn't do you any good. Another big free agent that's out there is Jason Peters. Obviously, he's old, but he's a tackle, and maybe there's a team out there that's going to pay him a little money, and maybe he takes it. Malcolm Jenkins, another Eagle, they let him go. He just signed with the Saints. A huge move for the Saints because the Saints now they really Malcolm Jenkins really helps out the back end. He was a Saint. I mean, they drafted him. I saw something today from Sean Payton. It said Sean Payton said, "Well, I don't know why we let him out the door." I agree. I agree. I don't know how you could. He was a great player, and they let him go. So big moves are happening. Teams are making moves all over the place. And so, if I've missed your team, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to all of them. I think there are some teams out there that are still trying, still making moves that I probably haven't seen yet. But if I missed a move, let me know. I'll make sure I try to bring it up. But that's what I got. And that's the big free agent market out there today. And hopefully I can get another one out with another update. And I'm trying to work on getting another one with the my mock draft picks 11 to 20. Thanks so much. Have a good day.